This new generation that is witnessing all this destruction and being forcibly displaced from their homes and are here living in a shelter. This new reality for the children keeps them aware that this is an occupation and these are occupiers. They destroyed our lives.
To unpack all of this, let's bring in Osama Nazzal. He's a Palestinian affairs analyst, and he joins me now live. Great to have you here with us on TRT World. So, what could possibly justify Israel expanding its illegal raids in the occupied West Bank and at the same time agreeing to a ceasefire deal in Gaza?
Nothing justifies oppression and nothing justifies killing of the innocent people. Nothing justifies the displacement of the Palestinian people for 100 times, because we know that the people of the refugee camp of Jenin were expelled from their original villages and towns in 1948 when Israel was established. All the citizens of Jenin refugee camp are coming from Haifa and the villages around Haifa, and the same applies to the other residents of Tulkarem refugee camp and Farah refugee camp, because we know that this is the Israeli war against the Palestinian refugee camps in order to end anything related to the Palestinian refugees' right of return. They started with Jenin and they are expanding, as you mentioned, their aggression in order to have an all-out war against all the Palestinian refugees. We saw how they demolished the refugee camps in Gaza and displaced about 2 million Palestinians. And now they are applying the same model of Gaza in the occupied West Bank. And that is the mentality of the colonial power of Israel. And that is the mindset of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his officials, the officials of his government. And they feel that they have a free hand to do whatever they want against the Palestinian people in light of the international silence and the support that they receive from the American administration, whether the previous one or the current one.
Now, Osama, I want to talk to you about Donald Trump. Right before his inauguration, of course, many in the Muslim world were celebrating this ceasefire deal. Many were praising Donald Trump for ensuring a ceasefire takes place in Gaza. But look at where we are right now. You have the second phase of a ceasefire, which is in limbo. Israeli attacks have expanded in the occupied West Bank. Israel is conducting its biggest ever raid in those occupied territories. Then you have Donald Trump approving the delivery of 2,000 pounds bombs to the Israeli government, and he basically says that he doesn't know what he feels about annexation of the occupied West Bank, even though he knows it is against international law. Then there's talk about the expansion of Abraham Accords. So was this always the plan? Was this always the plan? Give them the ceasefire just for the time being, and in the meanwhile, we will come up a bigger, better plan for the far-right Zionist Israeli government.
I feel sorry for all the people who celebrated the win of Donald Trump because they have a very short-term memory. They forgot that Donald Trump, during his first term, declared Jerusalem, which is the first Qibla of the Muslim world, as the eternal capital of Israel. So they forgot that and they celebrated Donald Trump win. The Palestinian people, all of the Palestinian people, were aware of the policies of Donald Trump and what his administration is going to do. Exactly what he declared in 2017, the ultimatum deal or the deal of the century. And what is he doing now is implementing the terms and the clauses of this deal, and even worse than what it included, as he doesn't care about the rights of the Palestinian people, and his call for expelling the Palestinians from Gaza to Egypt and Jordan is a very clear evidence to the way he thinks. And this is not strange to the American president, because we know of the white supremacist policy and how they took over the American continent or the United States from its indigenous people. What about the indigenous people of the United States? What happened to them? So they don't care about the present or the future of the indigenous people. of Palestine, and everything bad and everything evil is really expected from this administration. And look at his larger policy and the declaration of the war of trade against many countries in the world. So this policy would be implemented if the Arab and Muslim world don't stand united in the face of this policy, the cost of which is going to be paid first by the Palestinian people, but at the same time by all the regional countries and by the whole of the Middle East. So the Palestinian people should not be left alone in this battle against the American Zionist policy, and support by the Arab and Muslim governments and countries is a must,
Right.
not only for the Palestinian people, but the whole region, the whole Middle East.
Osama Nazzal, thanks very much for joining me here on TRT World. I really appreciate your taking out the time.